What's going on, guys? I'm Flynn Masters, and welcome back for a special video. For today, I'm pleased to be joined by Russell Muscle TV, another Survivor YouTuber who makes awesome content. Seriously, the guy's a machine when it comes to his channel, so please give him a sub. For today, we'll be looking back at Season 41 and count down the top 10 most iconic moments from this season. This is being recorded before finale night, so the list will be moments from episode 1 to the penultimate episode. And again, these are the most iconic moments, so even though some of the moments on this list might have been frustrating, they were still a big part of the season. With that said, enjoy the video, guys. Let's start off the top 10 by talking about one of the greatest pre-merge characters of all time, in Brad Reese. Despite only lasting 3 episodes, Brad made a serious impact on the season, as the guy flat out told Sarah and Shan they were in trouble in episode 1, and in episode 3, it was basically the Brad show, as he found the idol clue and the Beware advantage. However, that same episode, his short run came to an end, as he was blindsided by Shan and Ricard. But the reason he was blindsided by the two in the first place goes back an episode prior. After simply seeing a conversation between JD and Ricard, Brad went full on Tony Vlachos mode, creating a spy shack to spy on the two, and springing back and forth between his spy shack and camp to make it not look suspicious. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Brad. He told Shan exactly what he had done, but instead of winning Shan over, this proved to her what a paranoid and hard player Brad was, giving her no choice but to vote him out at the next tribal Ua attended. One of the biggest praises of Season 41 has been the cast, with Brad being the standout pre-merge character due to all his antics in his short stay. But nothing was better than his complete paranoia shown in Episode 2, leading him to join the Survivor Spy Shack Club, while also being his downfall.
I'm sitting in camp and I see Ricard and JD head out to get water. It doesn't take 2 people to get water, and so you know exactly what they're doing. And my mind just immediately goes, dude, I can take the beachfront and I can beat them to the water. I know I can. So I blaze down the beach, come shooting over to the water, and I kind of look around and, well, here's a nice big old plump bush just within 10 feet of the water hole, right? And I just dive right in, knowing I don't have a lot of time. So I dive right in there and just kind of get hunkered in there as low as I can, and I wait. And sure enough, here they come right down the trail.
How you feeling?
Hello everyone, I just want to say thank you Flynn Masters for inviting me onto the channel. I love talking about Survivor every chance I get. Anyway, the number 9 moment from season 41 needs to be the emotional moment we are given in episode 11 regarding Danny winning the immunity challenge for his father.
Ricard drops, Xander drops at the same time. Danny wins his first individual immunity. Saved tonight at Tribal Council, guaranteed a spot in the final 6. Clearly a huge moment for Danny.
Okay, we are obviously getting way ahead of ourselves here. The challenge win itself was entertaining to watch as Danny beat out challenge beasts Xander and Ricard, but it was all the build up to this moment that made it so spectacular. So one of the new things brought into Survivor this season with the whole drop the 4 and leave the 1 was the idea of Survivor flashbacks to give us insight into the players' lives back home. Honestly, this was a hit or miss for me the entire season, but this was a clear time when it was executed to perfection.
My entire life, I think I was angry at him. You know, you want your dad to be Superman. You hear about other people getting into accidents and them surviving, then you wonder why he didn't, and then you're jealous and mad every Father's Day, every football game where your dad's not in and you see other kids with their fathers and all that. Every time I wanted to say, I want to make my mom proud or my family proud, I was really leaving him out of it. I was really upset. So today is more like trying to get rid of the shame that I feel for being angry for so long for something that my father couldn't control. From now on, I'm gonna make sure I go visit his grave as much as I should, talk to my mom about it more, and just try to let him know that I apologize and I was wrong and I'm a man now and I understand that. And I think moving forward, my thoughts and how I deal with stuff back at home will change greatly. So I'm going to try to move forward being happy and try to live the rest of my life of making him proud.
It's one thing for Danny to explain to us in a confessional about what the day means to him, but it's just something about the added pictures and videos that makes you feel for him on a deeper emotional level. Danny talks about the fact that this was the day his father passed away, and in years past he would try and stay as busy as possible to not think about what happened, but one of the terrible parts about Survivor that a lot of people don't talk about is that the majority of the day is consisted of downtime with nothing to do. This leaves Danny with nothing except his thoughts to really think deep inside about his father. With help from Deshawn, Danny is able to come to terms with his father's passing and says he is finally at peace with the situation.
I didn't think that it would bring me this much joy to win individual immunity, but being out here on Survivor has made me realize some of those negative emotions that I had around my father passing and not being here to take care of the family. And this experience helped me to let it go, and I'm really grateful for that.
So Danny's past couple of days have already been a full roller coaster, but he ends it on an extremely high note as he won his first and only individual immunity challenge of the season and says he did it for his father.
First individual immunity win guarantees you a spot in the final 6. Oh, brother, like, come on, bro.
Listen, and this is no lie. I had let go a whole bunch of stuff yesterday, and I literally just started saying, I want to make my dad proud. Yeah. I'll make him proud.
Oh.
And that's why I cried at the end, I swear to God.
We'll now go back to episode 2 for an episode that really set a lot of the narratives up for the rest of the season. To start the episode, we as Survivor fans watched in horror, as after Xander found an idol, we learned that not only was it not activated yet, but he wouldn't be able to vote until it became activated. So instead of having the normal protection of an idol, Xander was as vulnerable as could be. So, in need of some allies, he showed this to Voce and Evie, the latter of whom used this to completely turn the tables on Xander. Not only did Evie rat Xander out, saying he could be dangerous down the line, but she used this as an easy opportunity to make an all-girls alliance, who were in the majority of Yase. Then at the immunity challenge, while it was funny to hear Xander say this,
I truly believe that butterflies are just dead relatives saying hi.
It was still frustrating watching at home, knowing nobody else had found the idol, and Evie now knew there was nothing Xander could do to protect himself. But then at the immunity challenge, Tiffany had an abysmal performance, basically single-handedly costing Yase the challenge. With this performance, Xander and Voce were convinced the tribe had to get rid of Tiffany for being the weakest link, but Liana and Evie knew the time was now to take Xander out. However, despite being told the rules of the idol by Evie, Tiffany still was too paranoid to believe it, as she knew the guys' votes were going on her, and an idol play from Xander would send her home. But in hilarious fashion, Tiffany continued to push for Voce as the safe vote, despite Evie and Liana both knowing Xander didn't have an idol, and they might not get the chance to take him out again. It got to the point where you were wondering if maybe Tiffany's paranoia would in fact cause her to go home instead. But despite literally costing the tribe the challenge and acting paranoid all day, Tiffany got Evie and Liana to do something completely out of their best interest and vote out Voce due to Tiffany's best wishes. This vote really impacted the season. With a lot of spoilers saying Tiffany was the winner of the season, people were assuming at the time this was the show's way of saying that Tiffany could get what she wanted, even despite her paranoia. This also set up the Liana versus Xander one-way feud throughout the season, with Liana always wanting Xander out, but Xander would be the one to come out on top. And speaking of Xander, the guy has made it all the way to the finale with the idol still in his pocket, with many people thinking he's a shoo-in for the final 3, with maybe even a slight chance to win this season. Considering the guy was literally helpless at that tribal, he ended up being the last Yase standing and was a massive presence this season. And this was all thanks to Tiffany's extreme paranoia.
Hold on. It's whether or not he has the idol.
No, it's not. What keeps us here today, tomorrow, no matter what? The only way to protect me, listen, if he has the idol, the only way to protect me is to put Voce's name down. What does that tell you? Listen, I know you want him out, but it has to be Voce. That's what I think.
There's a lot of things going on right now that I can't even keep it all straight. Xander has some sort of idol that he has to come together with other people, and I still am unclear if he has one or doesn't have one. Listen, he's savvy. He might even be lying to me, unless I'm being one of those stupid Survivor players, which I really hope I'm not.
Third person voted out of Survivor 41. Voce. It's 3, that's enough. Need to bring me a torch.
Number 7, and we're keeping things early season 41 with Shan's ruthless gameplay on JD. This is actually crazy. Does anyone else think it's been such a long time since JD has been on Survivor? Please let me know what you think, because JD's season 41 story feels like such a long time ago. So to get the full picture of how ruthless Shan truly was to JD, we need to take things back to the very beginning of the season, and I'm talking all the way back to episode 1 when JD went to the first ever Summit Island with Xander and Danny. If you don't fully remember, this was really cool how it was set up because all 3 of these players played it off in a different way. Danny took the safe route and was honest about it with his entire tribe. Xander took the risky route but was still honest with his entire tribe. And JD, well, JD got caught in a lie.
I feel like everybody's still getting to know each other, and like we kind of are, it's in that blurry gray area so far. I think they ate it up. I really think I sold it really well. I feel good.
Okay.
But yeah, that was what happened.
Yeah, so JD just came back from his little fun adventure, and I don't believe he just said. It just doesn't make sense. He's Shady Boots lying. So let's get rid of JD.
That's crazy, right?
We then need to fast forward into episode 3 where the Uwa tribe is quickly falling apart and is headed to tribal council. It becomes Ricard and Shan's decision on who to keep and who to send home, as Brad and JD are the ones on the chopping block. The decision gets a little more complicated as Shan sees something hanging from JD's pants. Look, this is 100% on JD for playing sloppy Survivor here, causing Shan and Ricard to lose trust in JD, and with a bunch of backwards maneuvering decides to hand his extra vote over to Shan. JD ultimately survives the tribal as Brad is voted out, but we get to see how much of a villain Shan can truly be in the very next episode. With a bunch of back and forth yelling about trust, Shan decides to tell everyone that Brad had the idol, and this of course gets JD upset and explains that he won't be tricked twice. After the Uwa tribe loses yet another tribal, Shan goes from superhero into supervillain assassin and is able to trick JD again. JD says he doesn't want to come off like a Survivor dummy, but my guy, you just turn into a Survivor dummy. As this is all going down, we get Shan humming her sneaky music. Ultimately, JD doesn't play the Survivor game that he grew up imagining that he would, as he goes home wanting more.
5th person voted out of Survivor 41. JD. That's 3. You need to bring me your torch.
Particular reason?
I love you, JD. Love you. That's all love.
All right, Jack. JD?
Yeah.
Travis Book. Time for you to go.
Let's now talk about one of the best strategic moves of the season. After a very chaotic couple of merge votes, Survivor producers for some reason felt the need to divide the tribe up into 2 teams to send 2 people home. And before you say it was due to a rushed schedule, they could have simply made the Hourglass episode its own elimination episode to fit the schedule, or even simply do a back-to-back tribal double elimination episode. I just really hate to see these small tribals after the merge, especially when it looks like things are starting to heat up, and it looked like we would get 2 boring boots this episode. Xander and Evie were outnumbered on one tribe, with Heather and Erica outnumbered on the other. And normally at the final 10, a person like Heather would never be in trouble, but due to how things played out, she was not only the easy boot, but it was so obvious that even the majority wasn't hiding it, bringing Naseer to tears. But with this boot being so obvious, Ricard came to his senses that this would be the perfect time to blindside Naseer with an idol in his pocket, since he would literally never see it coming. However, for some reason, Shan was locked in on Heather, as she was extremely scared of the Heather-Erica duo. But thankfully, once Shan's extra vote came into the mix, it was clear what they could do. The 2 could use their extra vote to ensure their safety, as since Heather and Erica were voting for Naseer, his 1 vote could take out whoever he wanted if the votes were unanimously on Naseer. So Shan used her extra vote to put a vote on Heather and Naseer, with Ricard and Naseer both voting for Heather, resulting in a 3-3 tie, with Naseer ultimately going home on the revote. This was so well played all the way around, with Ricard convincing Shan that Naseer was the bigger threat, Heather and Erica both playing dumb, and Shan using her extra vote perfectly to ensure her and Ricard's safety. And so while it sucked to see Naseer go here, and it must have been really awkward to not even go to Ponderosa immediately afterwards, this was a phenomenal tribal considering it looked like it would be a boring Heather boot, and definitely was super unexpected.
It's hard for everybody.
Why is it hard for you, Naseer?
Because Heather and I, we had a relationship like from the beginning. It's like kind of a roller coaster, but I approached her because I'm still learning. There's a lot to learn. So she's a great teacher, and I really respect her like mother. But that person is about to leave. That is hard.
Ninth person voted out and the second member of our jury. Nasir. Nasir, need to bring me your torch. Good playing with you guys.
Good playing with you too.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything,
Nasir, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you guys for watching. If you are not subscribed for whatever reason, then smash that subscribe button and leave a like as well. Also, leave a comment down below of what you think the top 5 moments will be for part 2.
Once again, thank you Flynn Masters for having me on the channel. If you want to check out our list of the top 5 most iconic moments from season 41, come check out my channel.
With all that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.